Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing an overview of our fall research we performed this year. Been getting all the results in here the last couple weeks and wanted to put everything together in a few slides to summarize what we've done thus far. First set of trials we'll be looking at is with a new product called Pivot Bio Proven 40. This was the first year for the 40-pound product, and we wanted to perform a few trials to prove to ourselves that it does what is advertised. Proven 40 is advertised as replacing 40 pounds of nitrogen in a growing season. So this year we set out to prove this product worked for us. We did some trials privately, some third-party trials, as well as we did some trials on our own farm. So with that, we'll get into the first trial here. First trial we did here was a third-party replicated trial. This trial is performed by JG Ag Service of Mount Joy. These plots are replicated multiple times and then averaged out to get a true feeling for what a product does over the course of a field. First one we did here was a silage trial, and how the trial was set up. We took the nitrogen load on the field down so low to a point where these products had to work. So we basically shorted the corn crop on nitrogen. Prior to the application of the Proven 40 and side dress, about 70 pounds of total load, 30 of that coming from planter applied nitrogen and 40 of that coming from a fall applied manure. Plot 1 had Pivot Bio Proven 40 applied in furrow. Plot 2 had 40 pounds of equivalent side dress applied. As you can see, the results here on the bottom for tonnage, they're virtually identical, as well as the digestibility and the starch mirrored each other. So what we saw here is Proven 40 was the equivalent of 40 pounds of side dress nitrogen, which proved it is as advertised in this plot. So return on investment with Proven 40 being about half the cost of nitrogen this season, we got about a $20 an acre return on investment. Next slide we're looking at here is a silage trial also. This was a bigger trial done on farm with one of our customers. The total load on the field here was 70 pounds of injected cow manure credit, 35 pound planter applied credit, and they also applied 70 pounds of nitrogen at side dress. So before the Pivot Bio was applied, we had about 180 pounds of total applied nitrogen. What the results were here, these were strips, 2 strips of each check averaged out together. So in these trials, the Proven 40 yielded 21.3 tons per acre. The check yielded 20.5. So with current value of silage at $50 a ton roughly, and we got 0.8 ton advantage with the Proven 40, we got about a $40 acre return on the Proven 40. Half of that goes towards the Pivot Bio, and we got about a $20 an acre return on investment. Next slide here is a grain trial, and this is again performed by JG Ag Service from Mount Joy. So these were replicated trials as well. So 3 plots averaged out. We added another product here called Source Corn. It's a foliar applied nitrogen replacement tool, somewhat similar to the Proven 40, much different technology. It's chemical applied, at this case at V6, and what it does, short version, is it stimulates the plant to stimulate the microbes in the soil to absorb more atmospheric nitrogen. So what we found here is Proven 40 ended up yielding 156 bushel the acre, Source Corn 151, and the side dress 157. So at these rates, Proven 40 again proved itself 40 pounds equivalent nitrogen to side dress, and the Source Corn came in somewhere, we're figuring around 30 to 35 pounds, which is about as advertised, and cost per acre, Proven 40 and Source seem to be very close to equivalent, both a very good return on investment versus the side dress application. Last one here we're doing with Proven 40 is an infield grain trial. This is a lot bigger than the other trials. As you can see here, the blue strips had no pivot on them, and they had then side dress application, and the orange strips throughout the field here had pivot applied. So what we did then is we took we screenshotted the inside of this field here. As you can see here, the yields were virtually identical. The water had the Pivot Bio in it, and we ended 180 bushel the acre. and where the side dress was, we had 179 bushel the acre. This field had a total of about 110 pounds applied before Pivot Bio and side dress, and we shorted the crop there. We did know this worked because right here along the end rows, along the side here, we did side dress heavier and we did get an increase in yield. So we know that nitrogen was the limiting factor in this case. Again, we got about a $20 an acre return on investment using Pivot Bio versus side dress. So everything we concluded here with our trials this year is Pivot Bio is as advertised. We got about 40 pounds of nitrogen equivalent. That's how we presented the product. It is not a yield enhancement tool, it is a yield preservation tool. We are out to replace nitrogen, not add nitrogen to a total load in a year. So here we're going to be looking at our fungicide trials this year. We did two separate trials. One was at planting with Xyway LFR applied with fertilizer on top of the soil beside the row. And the second trial was a foliar applied fungicide at tassel. So we'll look at the Xyway trial first. Here's our one page. We're going to blow it up here to look at it a little better. This is the yield results from the Xyway trial. Here we had about 16, 17 acres total of side-by-sides back and forth. The corn was the field was third year corn on corn. Last year did have above average disease pressure in it, had tar spot and gray leaf spot. Saw both of them again this year. The tar spot didn't come in until late. But as you can see here, the Xyway made no effect on yield. This was applied with fertilizer beside the row on top, like it is labeled now, not in furrow. Yield potential in this field was pretty good. It was 200 bushel yield environment. Throughout the season, at no point could I or the agronomist find any visual difference and no disease pressure difference at the end of the year. So the investment in Xyway in this case made no return for us. As you can see here, 207 versus 205, so it actually had a negative effect, but we'll chalk that up as to even. Second trial we did here was over the top. This was applied at tassel. This was two different fungicides. The first fungicide was Miravis Neo, as you can see there on the right, and the other fungicide applied was Delaro Complete, the competitor. We've been using both here for a couple years. Last year they came out even. This year we had a 9 bushel advantage with the Delaro Complete. Delaro Complete seems to have good effectiveness on tar spot. Again, this was applied at tassel about green silk. And above this, where we didn't apply any fungicide along the edges, where the check strip was, the Miravis Neo had about a 12 bushel advantage on the non-sprayed. We didn't see quite the hikes this year, but a lot of that had to do with our lower yield environment. I mean, this field only made about 120, 130. Still paid to spray fungicide, no doubt about that. So yeah, there's a difference on that. So the last set of slides here, we are going to cover our starter trials we did this year. And this is the first year that we've done starter trials in a while. Did it a while ago, didn't really see any difference, but wanted to circle around to it again to see if there's anything we're missing. So the first trial here was with a product from the mill in Maryland. The analysis on it was a 10-8-2 with sulfur, zinc, and boron. I think it came from a company called AgroLiquid. This year we saw no yield difference whatsoever. We didn't see any visual difference either from the start. So measured, didn't see any stand count difference either. So this is in a fairly high fertility environment with a good history of manure. And this is our suspicion from the beginning, if we could get any real difference out of a starter with a lot of the fertility in the soil already. Move on to the next one. Next product we tried was a product called First Down from Nature's. First trial we did here was about 18 acres. No yield difference either, dead even, side by side, strip for strip. No visual difference either from the beginning. Started analysis on that was 7-18-6, a little different than the first one. After that, we did add some other stuff to the starter to see if we can get any yield differences from that. First product we called was Mega Power. added some of that. We did see a 3 bushel increase here. I think there's some other factors that led to that, because what we saw when we added a third product to the mix, we went back to dead even again. So through all these trials with the starter, we did conclude we didn't see any yield difference anywhere that was significant or anywhere close to paying back the cost of the starter. Again, next year we're going to try some more ideas to make sure we're not missing anything with some more biologicals and some other additives to work better with the fertility environment we're in. So that concludes this video. Anyone who has any questions, please feel free to reach out and talk to me. And I'm sure we'll see most of you guys in the next couple weeks ordering seed. Thank you.